Hello everyone. So I got my 10-year long service award last week, and it just made me kind of reflect on my career and how much I've grown in 10 years and all of the things that I've learned. And looking back at when I was a first year teacher, even second, third year teacher, just constantly feeling like I'm drowning, buckling under the pressure of being a maths teacher at a very academic school, and how I wish that there was someone that could give me really practical advice of things that could really properly make my life easier as a teacher. So I thought that I would come on here and give you guys 10 rapid fire tips of things that you can do that will make your teaching life easier. Okay, so the first thing is to go digital as soon as possible. For the first, I want to say, 7 years of my teaching career, everything was done on paper. I wrote notes on paper, I printed everything out, I kept everything in files, but I was drowning in paper. So now that I have this iPad, and you don't need to have an iPad to do what I'm suggesting, but my iPad has really made it much easier for me to go digital. But for you, if you don't have this or you don't have money to afford this kind of thing, just make sure that you scan in all notes, that you scan and save all question papers, all memos. As soon as you have a piece of paper, scan it in as quickly as possible. You can even get photo scanning apps on your phone if you don't have a scanner at school. Create a Google Drive file and put all of your documents in there, separated by grade, so that you can just find those things easier. The second thing is to not be afraid to admit that you don't know something. I remember when I was a beginner teacher, if a kid asked me something in class and I didn't know the answer immediately, I really doubted myself so much, and I really thought that the kids were going to judge me heavily for admitting to the fact that I didn't know. But actually, kids really appreciate when you say, I'm thinking about that, I don't have an answer for you right now, but I can look that up, I'm going to think about it overnight, let's chat about it again tomorrow. That then gives you time to go home, do some research if you need to, and come back the next day and actually be prepared to answer their question. Don't make something up on the spot. Don't waffle or kind of try and talk it away, because kids can see right through that and they will trust you less in future. When it comes to discipline, people always told me, don't smile until Easter, which for me was very difficult because I am a very friendly, kind of bubbly person. I love cracking jokes with my kids. So for the first few years, I did try to do that. I tried to be as strict as possible in the beginning of the year, but then I really struggled to build a nice relationship with my kids. So I have found that, at least with the kids that I've worked with, I know that this is not applicable to all schools, but for me, if I build a nice relationship, a good relationship with my kids early on, and if they know that I really want them to do well, they respect me, they know that I'm there to help them, they actually, the discipline kind of just falls in place. But when I have had, and this is my fourth tip, when I have had really difficult kids in the past, kids that have really tested me and tested my boundaries, don't engage with them in front of the whole class, because kids that are really difficult to manage, some of them really thrive off of trying to show you up in front of the whole class, and also some of those kids might actually be quite insecure. So if you try and embarrass them in front of the whole class, it will just make your relationship even worse. So what really works for me is to tell them to just go wait for me outside. I'll give the rest of the class something to do, and I'll go outside, I'll sit on a bench outside, and I'll have a chat with them. And I will just say to them, listen, no one's watching us now. What is going on? Why are you acting up? What do you need from me? Why are you not respecting my boundaries? Be firm with them, but also actually try and get them to open up, because often those kids have things going on in their lives and they don't really see you as an individual person when you're their teacher. So if you're having an individual conversation with them, that can really cross that gap or bridge that gap. And in my experience, that has always made things so much better going forward. All right, I think this is the fifth one. I'm definitely going to have to make a part 2 because it's taking a bit longer than I thought. But the one thing that has really worked for me, I have a lot of stuff to do. Every single day, I have so much stuff to do. If I don't put it on my to-do list, I'm going to forget. So even something as small as speak to Holly about this thing, or put this thing in for printing, or make an appointment with the principal to go chat to him about it. Literally the smallest thing I put on my to-do list, that just takes away the mental load of me needing to remember to do those things. If it's on my to-do list every morning, I check my to-do list, and then you can kind of prioritize. Once you are looking at your to-do list, you can decide, okay, I need to do these things today, I can do these things tomorrow. But if you check every single day and you kind of check off or tick off the most important, most urgent things first, then it's just such a big load off of your shoulders. All right, come back for part 2.